Hey guys, it's Broker Greg here with today's real estate update. You know, the U.S. housing market is in an odd situation currently, with seeming everybody being happy in their own sort of way. Inventory's up, but sales are down. And from buyers to sellers to builders, no one's thrilled with how this summer's played out so far. The story doesn't seem to be about a crisis per se, but about stagnation. Affordability remains at near record lows. The national median list price is hovering around $440,000, which is virtually unchanged since 2022. But thanks to higher mortgage rates, buying power has eroded. That's obvious. Since 2019, the all-in monthly cost of owning a median-priced home with 20% down has risen by more than $1,200. And that increase is being split about evenly between higher prices and higher interest rates. So our takeaway with buyers is that more inventory and longer days on market have not translated into real affordability improvements. Until rates ease, many buyers just may continue to stay on the sideline. Now, regarding sellers, if buyers can be described as frustrated, then sellers can be described as stubborn. This is the least seller-friendly summer since Realtor.com began tracking the data back in 2016. Active inventory, new listings, time on market, and price reductions are all up. More than 1 in 5 sellers have already reduced their list price. Thousands of others are just taking their houses off the market, which is often referred to as delisting. Delisting is a luxury that some sellers can't afford if they absolutely don't have to sell. It's also a sign that sellers are not panicking, and the market, despite being lukewarm demand, is far from crashing. The delisting trend really slows inventory growth, though, just as the market is now beginning to lean more buyer-friendly. Pending sales are down year over year in every month of 2025 so far. Flat national list prices since spring 2022 suggest many sellers are just still anchored to those sky-high selling expectations from when the market was red hot 3 or 4 years ago. Believe me, those times are gone right now. The takeaway here is that sellers need to adjust their sites to reflect current values for current market conditions. Delisting might preserve your dignity, but it doesn't move your property over to the sold column. Our friends the home builders are facing what you could probably describe it as a three-headed monster, which consists of lower buyer demand, higher financing costs, and tariffs on building materials. The long-term housing shortage, which is around 4 million homes nationwide, means demand for new construction isn't going away. But for now, builders are just reluctant to push forward because of the aforementioned three-headed monster. The takeaway here is, with buyers pulling back, this can prolong supply shortages, which keeps pressure on affordability in a lot of areas in the country. When we look at the national averages, they kind of show a split-screen reality of a housing market that's divided. The South and the West are saturated with listings, while the Northeast and Midwest remain starved for inventory. In other words, there's too much supply relative demand in the South and the West, and still too little supply in the Northeast and the Midwest. To sum it up, I guess you'd say the cruel residential real estate summer of 2025 may feel stagnant, but it's not a crisis. The extremes of the pandemic era are behind us, thankfully, and the market's moving, although too slow for most people, I know, but it's moving toward balance. And one thing to hope for and watch is that the upcoming Fed Reserve meeting here in a couple weeks, and that offers hope that they'll cut their interest rates for the first time in 4 years, loosen things up a bit for the economy. So we'll keep you posted, and we'll see you next time on the next Real Estate Update.